Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the late video. I actually did record a video and then I had to scrap the video and basically do it all over again. Because the actual story that I want to talk about is fluid and everything seems to keep changing. But before I start, as per usual, do you know, only 60% of you actually subscribed to the last video. That means that 40% of the audience was not subscribed to the channel. In order to help grow the channel and spread the work that I do, it would really help me if you just click the bell icon and subscribe to the channel. So anyway, on to the main story, and predictably, it's actually the hostage deal in Israel. For those of you who don't know, in October 2023, the Palestinian Hamas group went to Israel, committed some atrocities, and took 250 hostages, supposedly. I don't actually know if it was exactly 250, but that's the allegation. In any case, since then, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, has been pretty much sending Palestine back to the Stone Age in order to get their hostages back. Now, a hostage deal appears to be on the cards, and that does mean that some of the hostages may be returned. But before we actually get onto what the hostage deal is, it's important to understand what the actual position in Israel is. Now, for those who are observant Jews, they're going to remind you of the saying from Maimonides. And Maimonides says that the redeeming of captives takes precedence over supporting the poor and clothing them. There's no greater mitzvah. And the Mishnah says that one does not ransom captives for more than their value. And it's important that you understand that. So let's actually go through what the deal is. So the deal is that Hamas will release 33 hostages over a 4-month staged process. I've seen it being said as 4 months, and I've also seen it being said as 6 weeks. So what the exact amount of time that it will be released over, I'm not too sure. And in return for these 33 hostages, they will release 2,000 convicted terrorists. 250 of them are currently serving life imprisonment, and they will release an additional 1,000 captives who have all been captured since the October 7th debacle. Which means that in total, we could be looking at around 3,000 released captives. Now, what this actually works out at is that one Israeli is worth about 30 Palestinians, and one Israeli soldier is worth about 50 Palestinians. So, is it a good deal? Well, Trump claims victory, Biden claims victory, and there appears to be a lot of the American supporters all saying that they were able to secure this hostage deal and bring peace to the entire region. Obviously, Biden going out wants to claim it was his last big legacy, and Trump coming in wants to say, check, I'm so strong and powerful that I've managed to secure you a victory even before I was in office. So what does the actual Israelis think about this? And that's why it was important to understand the statement from Maimonides. Many in the IDF are basically saying this isn't a good deal. They're basically saying that it's a deal for Trump and Biden, and it's a political stunt, but they don't actually feel that releasing all these potential terrorists back into Israel is actually a good response for them. They do say that all that's going to happen is they're going to regroup and then basically come back and do it all over again. As far as they're concerned, this isn't actually really a good deal. Now, it's also important to understand that there's actually 98 hostages, supposedly, in Palestinian hands, or in Hamas's hands, if you want to call it that. And the deal doesn't really include everyone. So, the problem is that what will now be needed is a second and potential third agreement in order to release the rest of the hostages. And the agreement around that hasn't actually been forthcoming. They're still trying to kind of agree their ceasefire. So, what's the actual outcome? Well, that's why this video was delayed, because originally the news came out that the agreement was certain. Now it's not. It looks like what's actually going to happen is that the agreement's going to have to go through to the Israeli Security Cabinet, and they're going to have to either agree it or not. Now, sources that I have basically tell me that in Tel Aviv, they're pro the agreement, and in Jerusalem, they're not. So what that shows you is that it's basically a country divided over whether or not they should accept the agreement or not. Anyway, it seems like possibly we may be getting to the end of that entire debacle. So what was South Africa's response to it? In typical fashion, it was, free Palestine. We need to therefore assure the integrity of the Palestinian sovereignty and its territorial integrity, which was never the basis of the dispute in the first place. Anyway, you can let me know what you think of the agreements in the comment section below. So let's go on to the other news story today, and that is that Peter de Villiers has joined the MK party. He says he's joined the MK party to restore the dignity of the Western Cape. Now, for those of you who don't know who he is actually a former coach at the Springboks. Yeah, he's done rather well for himself. Well, prior to the MK party, he was actually a member of Good. And for those of you who don't know, he was actually set before at disciplinary proceedings at the Good party, potentially for sexual misconduct. Basically, it was alleged that he had done some kind of sexual harassment or sexual touching up of one of the members of the Good party. It wasn't exactly very clear as to what he did. But anyway, what we do know is that he went before a disciplinary tribunal and they basically found him guilty. They said that whatever his actions were could have been construed as gender-based violence. They originally suspended him, did their investigation, then found him guilty and then booted him. So what did booting him out of Good actually look like? Well, he was actually a member of the Western Cape legislature. So he wasn't just a member. He was actually like a member in power, meaning he was salaried. And he got kicked out. So now he has no home. In typical fashion, he joined the MK party. And one does have to ask the logical question. How come the MK party appears to take everybody that was kicked out of someone else's party? Because yet again, this is another example of it. It's an individual that's been found guilty of wrongdoing by another political party, and the MK party is like, hey, come on over here. And in typical fashion, Schlope basically said, oh, isn't this great? Because, we've got another high-profile individual joining our party. It shows the strength of our party. And I would say, no, it doesn't. It shows yet again, you guys just seem to take the rejects from everyone else. Everyone else, when they get expelled and they have no political home, off to the MK party you go. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. You can let me know what you think in the comment section below. Until Monday, bye.